Hey guys, how's it going? This is Yusei Wheelie here, and we are back with more FGO Lostbelt no, Chapter 5. So we only did 2 sections last night, and why is my head bending backwards? Calm yourself. Okay, give me a sec. There we go. Alrighty, anyway, last time we were on, we were hunting for Achilles. Well, first of all, we fought against Astraea. Astraea nearly killed us all. We saw someone who looked like Dr. Romani, and he was telling us to piss off. And then we traveled to, like, Astraea Island. Here we're on Astraea Island right now, but Astraea herself was, wanted to test us and stuff. And just so we can get a few pieces of information, and we figured out that there were a few servants here who was summoned to help the foreign god. One of them was Rasputin, also known as Kire Kotomine, and the other one who was making the statues on Astraea Island was none other than Senji Muramasa himself. So, Mr. Muramasa was summoned as an alter ego. Now that's kind of spicy. Also, I know that the new banner's up, though, for Europa. Some people are already summoning for her, but like I said, as much as I would like to get her, though, I'm trying to skip a few banners for now. So, yeah, because I'm saving up for stuff, too, so I'm kind of not as wailing as hard as right now. But yeah, there's Europa. But like I said, I will kind of saving up my quartz. I don't know, maybe for New Year's, who knows. Maybe I'll do a roll for New Year's, you know, it's tradition. But in any case, though, let us not waste any more time. Let us continue on, because we need to get through this story. Recollection, Disciples of the Foreign Star.
Your work is truly excellent.
What, this? I'm just making him to keep occupied. Besides, I figured one statue a day ought to be good for a night's worth of food and shelter.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you can never have too many statues extolling your beauty and virtue. That said, there is one thing I can't help but find curious. Aren't you a servant from proper human history as well?
You bet. But right now, I'm a full-blown enemy of humanity. There's a lot of nice things about being a servant, but having no say in who your master is ain't one of them. I'm here because the foreign gods summoned me. I don't know what they look like or what they're really after. But if they want me to do a job, I'll do it, no matter how cruel or heartless it might be. Besides, I've never been one to please anybody except myself. I never cared about what was right or what was just from the first time I opened my eyes to the last time I closed them.
I see. So you only cared about pleasing yourself, and were you able to do that even once while you were still alive?
Ha! You know how to hit where it hurts, don't you? Suppose that figures for the goddess of justice. You're right. Neither me nor this vessel I'm inhabiting now has ever once been satisfied with anything we've done. Maybe that's why I turned out to be a pseudo-servant. We're the same deep down. But don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I'm bored. Give me a second, let me turn on my fan. At least my other fan, just so I don't... There we go. Alright. There's a guy up in Olympus who's pretty alright. Be even better if he wasn't so damn big he couldn't move. The enemy is here, Senji Muramasa. I expect this will be the last of them. Let's hurry and get this over with so we can go back to Olympus. You got it. I swear, these guys never learn. Alright then. Looks like it'll just be the two of us fighting together again, huh? Of course. We have no need for reinforcements. Not when we know the others move so well. Given that we can tell exactly what the other wants or lacks in battle just by standing back to back. Having Limbo come in to ostensibly help would be a net negative. Yeah, you still look really happy about it, giving me the creeps. My apologies. Kinda funny seeing Shiro and Kotomine standing together and fighting together like this. While I of course have no memory of you, Senji Muramasa, nor of that man you possess who presumably has some connection to a Holy Grail war, I still find my vessel's feelings towards you both inscrutable and addictive, simultaneously similar and dissimilar to anger and joy. So what? You think we once fought each other to the death in some Holy Grail war? Ooh, if only you knew. Heavens feel, anyone? Heavens feel? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I expect so, yes. Yeah, you might be right about that. I'm not aware of doing it, but it seems whenever we exchange glances, I always end up with a wicked grin on my face. I'm not usually one for having someone else watch my back, but I tend to go big and wild whenever I'm swinging a sword. So it ain't bad knowing you're behind me taking care of the riffraff. It means I can really cut loose. Wonderful. Yorokobe maybe? Well, that's rejoice though, but still. Yorokobe. Wonderful. That's most encouraging to hear. Very well then. Let's go with that. Alright.
There must have been at least 20 servants from proper human history summoned here, and those are just the ones I counted. And yet, those two alter egos working together managed to defeat all of them. Yet another reason I cannot see your chances of victory as anything other than vanishingly small.
So those two servants have gone back to Olympus by now?
That's right. There was no longer any need for them to be here now that Odysseus has arrived.
What about Odysseus? What about Odysseus? Do you have any information on him? Hephaestus refused to tell us anything about him. Said he was scared of being found out.
Alright, very well. I suppose I can tell you as a little bonus. I've only met Odysseus once, when he paid my island a visit. And I remember that he knew far, far more about proper human history than I expected. His wasn't the sort of knowledge one requires through reading or listening or even personal experience. It was very much as if he'd drained it directly out of someone without leaving so much as a drop.
I see.
Well, it looks like this is goodbye. Farewell, everyone.
Wait, stop! Just a moment!
What is it now? I've already answered every question I'm obligated to. Any more than this will throw off my scales balance.
But please, just one last thing. It's important. Can we win this? Really? You're just straight up asking that?
Your odds are slim for sure. Even if you do manage to overcome Atlantis, Olympus still waits. And it's not a matter of who has the superior numbers. The fact is, between ordinary humans like yourselves and gods whose lifespans range over 10,000 years, you simply reside on a completely different conceptual planes of existence. But of course, that's not the question you should be asking.
There we go.
Huh? You all came here in the first place because you'd made a decision to destroy this world. And why wouldn't you? You're literally fighting for your right to exist. To put it another way, if you don't fight, you die. I'd say that makes winning or losing a secondary concern at best. After all, if you didn't want to fight and you didn't want to lose, you were better off deciding not to fight in the first place. But you made your decision and chose to fight, so now that's all that's left to do. You may not be fighting for a just cause, but you still mean to fight, don't you? Then shape up already!
You're right, I'm sorry. I can't argue with that. Slim though our chances of victory may be, that's no excuse to throw in the towel.
At the risk of repeating myself, let me be perfectly clear. Every living god in this world is your enemy. I would strongly advise you keep that in mind.
Thank you so much for helping us.
There's no need to thank me. From this point forth, you and I may as well be perfect strangers. Goodbye.
Alright, next stop, Thetis Island. For real this time. Cast off! Hey, alright. Let's go, Thetis Island. Achilles Doko. Okay, so we got... Alright, so we got a dialogue thing before. Damn. Is that Paris?
Hey, you think you're gonna be okay?
Oh. I thought this... Wait, wasn't this is supposed to be Paris, right? But then, wait, is someone else talking there? Hey, you think you're gonna be okay, Paris?
No, I don't. I only just woke up. Why is this happening?
I've synced up with this Lostbelt, and I just finished downloading information about it. Those guys are Atlantis border guards, and they're not looking to take you alive, so be careful.
How exactly am I supposed to be careful, Lord Apollo?
Good question. Beats me. Okay, it's the thing on her head. Oh, but I don't recommend surrendering. They'll just cut your head off as soon as they get close enough.
Couldn't you said that sooner, you big jerk? That means I've got no choice but to fight back. Alright, take this!
Whoops. Looks like your bow's just not strong enough to hurt them. They're powered up with the god fluids, aka Theos Klironomea. They're powered up with god fluids, I guess. So fighting back might not get you too far.
Gross! There's gotta be a better way to say that.
Yeah, I meant phrasing. Relax, it's just some fluid metal. Nanomachines, nothing more. No need to be concerned.
How's any of that supposed to put me at ease? Now look, they went and cornered us while you were blabbing on about stupid nonsense.
Well, that's not good.
Not good? This is terrible.
Wait, is she crying? It's kind of hard to see.
Save me, brother! Oni-chan, uwu. Huh?
Damn, even after becoming a servant, you're still just a kid.
It can't be.
What's with the look? I'm here to rescue you, you know. Go on, find somewhere to hide. I'll take care of these guys.
You're freaking Achilles!
Hey. Oh, you know who I am?
As if I could ever forget, I'm...
Ah, well, once you've been a heroic spirit as long as I have, you get used to some servants just knowing your name. Anyway, sorry to do this, but I'm gonna have to literally kick you out of here for a bit.
My name's Pal!
Wah! Wah. Hello, Ina. Alright. Now that the interloper's out of the way, I can start taking my anger out on you guys in earnest. Sorry, but there's no way any of you are walking away from this. I'm way too pissed off to go easy on you. Oh, wait. Am I just gonna control Achilles? Achilles. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I guess I'm not really here then, so will I still be able... I don't think I'll be able to use my master skill since if it's just Achilles here. Achilles Doko!
さて、俺の前に立ちはだかったって準備完了だ。おう、任せろ。
Okay, there's 4 of them.
潰させてもらう。任せ、行くぜ。おう。
There we go.
セリア。遅い。さあ、本気の速度だ。お、任せ、行くぜ。セリア。遅い。甘いんだよ。
Alright, here it goes.
行くぜ。おう。クサントス、バリウス、行くぞ。命がけで突破する。我が命は流星のごとく。トラゴンや。
Alright, cool. Just speed blitz through my frame rate while I know I don't chip. Or at least my blue stack's turn
さあ、本気の速度だ。いやー、お前さんも相当に強かった。縁があったらまた戦おうぜ。
me. Yeah, another crown. I wonder which servants in the future are gonna need crowns. Because I know I'm seeing Toho Sniper was farming for them earlier. Ha! Damn, that didn't help me feel better at all. Whoa, whoa, what do you think you're doing back here after I just saved you? I mean, I do feel bad about kicking you out of there, even if it was an emergency, but...
It's not that. It's not that at all. I didn't want you to rescue me. Not you of all people.
Huh? Wait, no way. Don't tell me you're...
That's right. It's me, Paris.
So it is you. What the hell? You don't look like anything you don't look anything like I remember.
Believe me, I've been wondering about that myself. I have no idea why I look how I did in my shepherd days. What's going on here, Lord Apollo? Why did I materialize like this?
Because this point in your life was your prime, of course. Prime cuteness, that is.
Was that last part really necessary?
Hey, is that Apollo? As in one of the 12 Olympians?
Well, yes, but...
Does this mean you're on Olympus' side, you little bastard?
What? No!
Sorry, but you'll have to forgive me if I just can't take your word for it.
Well, what about you? You're the son of Thetis, and she's a god. Lord Apollo, please lend me your aid once more. I need your help to do battle with Achilles.
Well, I guess every human is bound to make foolish mistakes now and then. Alright, whether this is all a big misunderstanding or not, I'll give you a hand. Fortunately for you, Achilles is weakened right now. And since you're powered up with the Theos Klironomea, you've got a real chance of beating him.
Got it.
So you are on Olympus' side. I knew it. Alright then, fine with me. I already swore an oath to fight to my death anyway.
Here I come.
Bring it! Are we going to intervene in this? Because we can't afford to have them killing each other off. We kind of need them. Alright. Okay. Let's just continue on. So we have 2 more little arrows to complete this segment. Okay, I guess we're doing more dialogue before battle. Well, we're here. Ugh, why did it have to be Achilles, damn it? Not that I met him when I was alive or anything. I can just tell from his legends that I'm gonna hate the guy. He's the sort who will be all, "Hey Jason, mind spotting me for a sandwich, bro?" and then never pay me back. He's not really like that. How would you know? Maybe because I have summoned him before. I have summoned him. He's a part of Chaldea. He's one of my guys. At this point, all we can say about him for certain is that he spent his whole life defying his superiors. And in this case, that means me, and also you.
But that's not what I remember him being like.
Pardon me, but our sensors just detected what appeared to be small-scale explosions. Looks like it. Sounds like people fighting. And I'm pretty sure I hear swords clanging. If someone is fighting on this island, there's an excellent chance that someone is Achilles. Come on, let's go.
Understood.
Damn it, I really don't like this, but I guess we've got no choice. This kid's a lot stronger than he looks. Oh yeah, I forgot this is still a dude, but it looks like a lolly.
You're the one person I refuse to lose to.
Whoa. Damn it. I always hated this guy's skill with a bow, even when I was still alive.
You're going to pay for killing my brother.
Yeah, that's it. Kick his ass. He's gotta be on Olympus' side anyway. Me? On Olympus' side? Don't even joke about that. Then again, maybe that's too much to ask, seeing how you look like a bad joke yourself. How dare you? I'm no joke. I'm Apollo. Yeah, you're right. This isn't a joke. Having a shitty god like you as some kind of freakish mascot is a goddamn nightmare.
Don't be rude. I know it doesn't look great, but this is actually a real power move for a god.
That just makes it worse.
Okay, you're not wrong about that.
Come on, Paris. You could at least try to stand up for me. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap! I know, right?
I've just accepted this as being what gods are like for a long time now. Besides, it's cute in its own way.
This is all throwing me off my game. Alright, I didn't want to have to use this. But now that I'm sensing more people headed this way, I'm gonna have to hurry up and finish you guys off. Watch out, Paris!
Got it! I'm picking up magical energy. He's going to use his noble phantasm.
Xanthos, Balios, Pegasus, come to me!
A chariot.
A chariot, so he's a rider. I've got you now. Troyus, Trago! That's enough! Damn it, I missed!
I managed to dodge it.
Who are you? I'm from Chaldea. Chaldea?
Yes, the Chaldea Security Organization. It's our job to help preserve humanity.
So you're not enemies?
That's right. At least I hope not.
What about you? Seeing how you were apparently just fighting to the death, is one of you a Lostbelt servant? Actually, hold on. Which one of you is Achilles? I am. Okay, then, who are you?
Oh, all right. While it may be presumptuous of me to say this, I'm one of the heroes of Troy from proper human history. My true name is Paris, and I'm an archer.
Huh? You mean you're a proper human history hero?
That's what I've been saying all along. Wait, did I say that?
No, you didn't. Damn it. All that fighting for nothing. Now my wound's acting up. Are you okay? Oh, thanks, but don't worry about healing me. This wound can't be cured. Seriously? What, did a harpy cut you or something? I wish. No, I got shot through my heel. Yikes. Not the Achilles heel.
That's awful.
Assuming that's the same heel as your fatal weak point in your otherwise immortal body. Are you sure you'll be alright now that it's been shot?
Yeah, I'm okay for now. But I'm about 70% slower than usual, and I'll die if something shatters my spirit core in this condition. Usually, the only things that can hurt me are a god, someone descended from a god, or a divine construct. Oh, yes, I remember. It made it really hard to kill you. Is that sheep talking? Foe, foe! There could be only one mascot, foe. It is time for foe to take action and rip his head off, foe, and crap down his throat, foe! Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll talk to you later, foe. I've got a nasty feeling about this, so let's just clear things up now. You there, sheep. Who the hell are you? Hey there, my name's Apollo. I'm Artemis's brother and one of the 12 Olympians. Then you are our enemy!
Wait, please! This Lord Apollo isn't like the other gods, I promise! You know, I think Hephaestus may have said something about this. Let's see. I think he said the gods who stood with us were Hephaestus, Athena, Hestia, Ares, Hades, and...
Apollo.
Right! Apollo, the sun god. They're all supposed to have been on humanity's side.
Not to mention that, strictly speaking, I'm not one of this Lostbelt's 12 Olympians either. So, you're the Apollo from proper human history, then? That's a big affirmative. What's more, I just downloaded the data from this Lostbelt. And now I'm a god who stands with proper human history and who has full access to this Lostbelt's information. So if there's anything you want to know about this Lostbelt's deities, I'm your sheep. God. God. Whatever your question might be, I'll barf up the answer as quick as you please. Are you sure you don't mean cough up? I know what I said. Nope, barf. You know how sheep have 4 stomachs? Well, one of mine is just for data.
Please don't vomit when you're sitting atop my head.
Relax, I'm just kidding. That's a proper human history god, all right. There's no way a god from here would still be so irritatingly cheerful. Hell, that kind of cheer would be the first thing they got rid of. So I really did wear myself out for nothing.
How do you think I feel?
Aren't these two...
Right. During the Trojan War, Achilles killed Hector, Paris' older brother.
Yep. Then I ended up dying too after Paris went and shot me through my heel and heart.
How can you be so blasé about that? How come you don't seem to care at all that I killed you?
Why would I? I knew I was prophesied to die young. And given how I'd chosen to live out my life as a hero, I kinda expected I'd die in that war. And that's pretty much why I was able to fight as hard as I could right up until the moment I died. So if I don't seem all broken up about you being the one who killed me, that's why. Alright, never mind all that. Achilles, are you willing to help us? Help you? Well, I am a proper human history servant and all. So yeah, of course I'll help. Though I'm not quite as strong as I used to be since I'm not immortal anymore. How about you, Paris?
I'll help you all too, of course. I mean, please let me help you. You said you were a master, right?
Yep, I'm Yusaku.
Got it. Okay, Lord Yusaku, I recognize you as my master and vow to serve you to the best of my ability.
Man, for someone so small, you sure are a huge stick in the mud. Anyway, it's good to meet you guys. Pardon the intrusion. Sherlock Holmes, consulting detective. A question for you, Achilles, if I may. Do you still have your armor and shield? My armor and shield? You mean the armor and shield my mother had Hephaestus make for me?
Right. We've been looking for you in the hope of finding that same armor and shield.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, I don't have the shield anymore, but I do still have the armor. So what do you need them for? Well, we need to go up to the moon. Now I see. So you want to make my armor and shield into a divine construct so I can use to take down Artemis, huh? Sorry, but there's no way that's happening.
Huh? Why not?
Look, I don't mind giving you the armor. I don't even need it anymore. But like I said earlier, I'm a good deal weaker than I used to be thanks to my heel being literally shot. Sure, I can still call my chariot, but I really don't think I could survive riding it up to orbit at hypersonic speed. Plus, and this is just my warrior's intuition speaking, but trying to take down Artemis is in anything less than perfect condition, especially with an injury like this, well, I don't think I'd have a chance of beating her.
Then what are we supposed to do? If we don't have a way to get past Artemis, we'll have no hope of making it to the Tree of Emptiness.
Hold up. You said you can still manifest your armor, right? Yeah. Then what if we bring that armor to Hephaestus and ask him to make it into a bow and arrow?
Huh? A bow and arrow?
Aha, now I got you. True, that armor was forged by Hephaestus himself, so it definitely qualifies as a fully fledged divine artifact. And if you guys want to remake it into something else, I don't have a problem with it. But can you even do that?
We can manage as long as we have Lord Hephaestus helping us. I think.
Well, either way, I wasn't planning on using it myself. So, who's gonna fire this bow?
I will.
I'm afraid I can't recommend that, Paris.
Why not?
Because it would be impossible for you. You could push yourself so hard your spirit origin starts to crack, and you still wouldn't hold a candle to Orion in terms of power. You wouldn't even be able to knock an arrow to a divine construct bow, let alone fire it. Not even with my help.
I see.
So that just leaves me. Are you sure about this, Orion? Even we know that Artemis is your... well... I'm fully aware of that, Achilles. Even so, I'm willing to go ahead with this. Let me just ask you one stupid question. Are you doing this because it's the right thing to do? No, it's got nothing to do with that. This is about responsibility. Gotcha. In that case, the armor is all yours. Besides, I wasn't going to use it anyway. Then we're done here, yes? Great. Let's hurry up and go see Hephaestus. Right on.
Wait, what? Huh? Excuse me, I'm coming too. Please let me come with you.
Oh, are we sure we can rely on this kid? That's... well, never mind. Here they come.
Are those?
You guys must have fought some of them before, right? Those are Atlantis border guards. You know, this works out nicely. Why don't you give Paris here a shot to see how he fares against them? As for me, well, you already know I've got what it takes, right?
Holy hell, he's like a walking mountain of confidence. What? Where'd he get out signing me up for something like that without even asking? That said, it does seem like it'd be a good chance to show off what I can do, so I don't have a problem with it.
Don't worry, I'll lend you a hand if you need it.
Don't bother, I won't need your help. I won't.
Well, well. Touchy, are we?
Oh, I can actually use my party. Huh. I can actually use my party. Is that right? Well, in that case, sorry, Paris. I won't be using you. I've got better archers at my disposal. Well, let's see. Let's see indeed. Who can we use? Who can we use? Alrighty, then. Okay. I got 2 Avengers in here. Okay, let's go with Ishtar. And just for the hell of it, let's go with Gilgamesh. Because why the hell not? There we go. Cause you got that. Cause you got that. Cause you got that. Got that something that I need in my life. So give it to me. You guys heard nothing. You heard nothing.
さーてギャンブルだ。得意だけどまずは様子見といこう。リラックスリラックス。
王冠よ力を。
精度を上げて。まあ待て。盤面を見てやる。
いいわ。金銭はいはい。狙いは決まった。飛ぶわよ。まだ。ゲートオープン。光栄に思いなさい。これが私の全力先生。あれだけ。高くついたわね。あのシーンを捧げましょ
う。最高のカードを君は。
Alright, let her rip.
ほんはくだらん。原子は混ざり固まり万象を織りなす星を生み死して敗せよ。
セット。敗者は身ぐるみ剥がされる。捧げ物として没収するわ。
Alright, awesome. Hey. Yeah. There you go. Looking good, Paris. Meh, it'll do.
Who asked you?
Hey, I've got a right to voice my opinion. You killed me, remember? I mean, back when we were alive.
I remember. I also remember how you killed my brother, at least back when we were alive. Alright, you two, there's no call for this. The fact is, you're both dead now, okay?
Ouch. But, yeah, I guess you're right. Paris, I won't say we should be friends, but we can at least work together.
Yeah, that's fair. There you go. Shaking on it is the first step to making up.
Please tell me they're not going to try to crush each other's hands.
I don't think they'll really be of much help, but I hope that's okay. Don't worry, you will. You're a lot more helpful than me, that's for sure.
I'll say, just take a look at her. The only thing she's good for is killing people with their back. The only thing she's good for. God damn it! Sorry. I'll say, just take a look at her. The only thing she's good for is killing people with their backs turned. Though of course, without my crew here, I'm just as useless as she is. Wait, hey, who are you calling useless?
Jason?
Would you lay off the one-man show, please? Oh, interesting. Honestly, you didn't make a great first impression, but you're actually a lot more approachable than I thought. Oh no, I'm not. Now stay away from me. I can already tell we'll mix like oil and water. Now you really got my interest. Crap, he's just as bright and cheery as I imagined. There's no way I can get along with him. Mandricardo? Oh man, you're letting me go already? Huh? Letting you go? I mean, never mind. More importantly... Hey, Paris, sir?
Just Paris is fine. What is it, Mandricardo?
Oh, okay. Well, I was just kind of curious about something. Mayhaps you could, pray tell me what Lord Hector was like? What's going on? You're a bundle of nerves. Well, of course I am! I mean, Hector has been my idol pretty much forever!
Of course, I'd be glad to tell you all about Big Brother's many wonderful qualities.
Awesome!
First off, he was impeccably handsome. Handsome like Diarmuid on his best day. I mean, his helmet shone like no one else.
Go on. I think I'd better give them some space before I'm tempted to get in and dig. Otherwise, I think I could inadvertently end up sparking a serious bloodbath. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Achilles, could I talk to you for a moment?
Oh. Come on. Mash? Fine with me.
Thank you. I want to ask you more about what you said earlier, about how you were able to fight until you died. People don't live forever. The meaning we find in our lives tend to be something we learn after the fact. Which is why we try to face life head on and live each day as best we can.
Makes sense.
But even so, knowing your death is imminent and not just at some vague, uncertain point in the future, well, it sounds terrifying to me, so I want to ask you, how can you stay unafraid of death, Achilles? Is it because you are a hero?
Yeah, maybe. Some people become heroes by saving others' lives, and some become heroes by taking them. Unfortunately, I was one of the latter, so I knew I was never going to be afforded a peaceful death. And sure enough, back when I was alive...
That's when Hector said, Lord Apollo, would you mind doing your impression?
Whoa, come on now. What's the point in cornering an old man? You fell for it, didn't you? Oh, bad. That's just badass. That carefree kid laughing it up over there, along with the god sitting on his head, ended up taking me down. But you know, I don't mind that I died how I did. It might not have been peaceful, but it was still satisfying. Plus, since I was this big hero who was so famous, now I get to be summoned like this. Mash, you and Yusaku are gonna die and go your separate ways at some point. That's just a fact. But that doesn't have to happen anytime soon. My life being so short is why I died without any regrets, and I'm able to fight again now to help ensure you two can live good long lives. Hell, if I have to, I'm even willing to die here again to make that happen. Do you think you're going to die here? Well, I can't say for sure. It's more intuition than anything else. But, how can I put this? Let's just say I don't think I'm gonna get to say goodbye after everything here has been wrapped up nice and neat. But hey, if you like having me around, you can always just summon me again. Do that, and I'll die for you as many times as you like. That's not usually the kind of thing you say with a smile. It is for me. As long as my heel hasn't been shot, I'm an invincible one-man army. Hey, Mandricardo. I'm gonna bring up the rear for a while, so I'd like you to stay close to Master in the meantime. Right, got it.
You really admire Hector, don't you, Mandricardo?
Hell yeah, I do. Whoa, you're I can actually see the stars in your eyes. Wait, really? Alright, stop looking at me. Come on, knock it off. As far as I'm concerned, there's no greater hero than Hector. So if I ever get a chance to meet him, well, I want to be able to face him with pride. That was kind of a wholesome moment. Oh man. There's still
サンタ
not
属性の皆さんの動きが慌ただしくなってき
the
ました。
Santa servants are starting to get restless.
もうそんな季節なんですね。
Yeah, so that's why we gotta get through this Lostbelt. Alrighty, so we got the fourth one of chapter 13, and this is a no battle. So yeah, let's just hop right in on it. Hop right into it. As they say. Let's go! Alright. We now have the material we need to make a divine construct. Which means we're one step closer to giving Artemis some well-deserved payback. This feeling. Go!
What is it, Lord J? Yow!
Ow, ow, ow! What's happening? Damn it! It's the same thing as before, remember? We were told the next piece of information would become accessible once we got the materials for the divine construct. This is the freaking worst. My ears are still ringing.
Well, at least now we know where to find Hephaestus.
Very good. Then, if you would kindly tell us the coordinates, I'll have Captain Nemo put them up on the map.
Sure, Hephaestus is right around.
Here, right in the heart of the Great Labyrinth on Persei Island. Hephaestus is at the very end of the path that winds through the massive, intricate maze of the Minotaur. Well, his forge unit, anyway. Okay, looking at the map, it should take us about 2 days to reach Persei Island. We'll stop at a smaller island on the way to rest up, then we'll keep going until we've found him. I'd also like you to get more of Hephaestus' nanomachines, about 3 servants worth if you can. According to my calculations, that should be enough to completely restore the border. No, not just restore it, to let it be reborn. I even drew up some blueprints for its new design. Take a look.
I'm afraid I don't quite know what I'm looking at.
And of course, it'll call for a name change as well. It won't just be borrowing my Nautilus's name anymore. It'll be a new vessel, one better suited for your journey.
Though, of course, that's all still a nice daydream at this point.
Well, this is Hephaestus' own temple we're talking about. I'd say the odds of having enough nanomachines for 3 servants are better are better than even, probably anyway. Okay, let's get back to the ship and get ready to set sail. And as soon as that's done, I'm taking a well-deserved cat nap.
But servants don't need to sleep.
I might be a servant, but I'm also making full use of my brain every hour of the day. So it's only natural I need a break and some sweets to recharge.
Are you sure that's true? But alright, then I'll bake you some cookies or something once we're back on the ship.
Good, that's what I like to hear. Alright, this may be a little unnecessary by now, but my name is Achilles. I might not be in peak condition right now thanks to my heel being shot. But I swear on my mother and father alike that I'm willing to give everything I have to help humanity. Hey, what are you waiting for? Go on, introduce yourself properly.
Right. My name is Paris, and I'm an archer. I may not even remotely compare to Orion, but I promise I'll at least do my very best. Thank you for having me. Oh, one last thing. I also hate Achilles.
Was that last bit really necessary?
Yes, it was.
Oh well, that's okay. The main thing was that we're both in the same boat now, figuratively and very soon, literally. And that means we're part of the same crew, even if we hate each other.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm surprised by how pragmatic they're being about this.
Well, for better or for worse, heroes from ancient times are used to killing each other. There's more than a few Celtic heroes like that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course! I doubt it's as easy as that when they have ideological differences, like Edison and Tesla. How can he be so different when I'm still not over it?
As Achilles said, we're all in the same boat now, and that boat, literally the last hope for humanity's survival, is on the verge of sinking. So whatever your differences might have been before, you're going to leave them all behind before you come on board. Kind of like how this part was short. Okay, now we can. Ooh, oh god. The medicine I've been taking is really good. Really feels good to finally be able to stretch. Ooh, alright. Sun Ocean. And there's only 2 sections here, and we're fighting a caster. It's gonna be dialogue first, so I guess so. Okay, let's see now. Okay, before we start, I need to go refill my drink, because I need drink, and I'll be back.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. I am back. Let us go onward. All right. Ow! Ooh, hit my knee. Hey, back on the border. Sonar has a contact. Looks like nanomachine enhanced Lamia. Lots of them. All servants on standby. Prepare to deploy for battle. What? Seriously? Oh, alright. Achilles! Yeah? Paris has shown us what he can do, but you can't say yet the same. But you can't yet say the same. If you really are able to fight, then you shouldn't have any problem proving it to us. Master? What's up? Now that Jason said his piece, I want to know what you think. Huh? You're roping him into this too? Hell yeah, I am. I don't go around just serving anyone who barks orders at me. I'd like to see you fight too. Got it. In that case, just sit back and enjoy the show. Hup. Feels a little weird to be floating on water, but it's nothing I can't handle. Okay, kiddies, time to learn why I was renowned as the strongest hero of the Trojan War. Here I go.
For the record, the strongest hero of the Trojan War was my brother, Hector.
Had to get that little piece in, huh? Had to get that little piece in. Oh, damn, MP5. I think my Achilles is still MP1. Alright, let's see. Alright. I can't do a double Scotty, that's for sure. Yep, I think I'll lead off in my Achilles. And then I will use my Scotty. Well, I can't use two Scotties though, but it's still, you know, it's all good. Should I bring in Drake? Rest in peace, Drake, in this story. There we go. Let's go.
よし、縁が結ばれた。殺し合おうじゃないか。
とにかく破れたり。体感もろともぶった切るわ。こういうこともできる。
潰させてもらう。
いざ、いいわね。
Alright, let's go, Musashi.
天将、海を立つ。行くぞ。大剣士、大剣豪大結界。これが私の巌流島だ。
Okay.
プルプル
潰させてもらう。よし行くぜ。さあ立ちふさがってよ。我が戦車は星のように容赦なくお前たちを引きずる。空がおいでよ。
Hey, oh.
返す太陽はじける水しぶきかわいい女の子水着大好き
Yep, we love your swimsuit too, Musashi. It's very nice. And done. Well, Master, what you think? I might not be at my best, but my speed and strength are still nothing to sneeze at, right? That wasn't your best? Really? Nope. At my true speed, you wouldn't be able to see me at all. The fact that I was visible at all just proves how weakened I still am. Well, here, have a heal, just in case. Huh? I mean, I wasn't all that hurt, and I would have healed up on my own in a little while anyway. But thanks, I appreciate it.
Are you okay, Master?
I got a little dizzy. Oh, what's this all about?
Using the Mystic Code again and again immediately after a battle really takes a lot out of you. Whoa, whoa! You alright there? Here, Senpai, lean on me. I'll take you back to your room.
Thanks. Hey, you got a minute?
What's up, Mandricardo?
Well... Foe, foe! I have claimed this spot on the bed, foe, and I will not budge for anyone, not even for you, unless you trade me the golden Atlantean kibble that I've heard rumors about. Oh. Alright, foe, I guess I'll move. I'm okay, thanks, foe. That is not what I said, foe! Is that MASH? Come in. Hey, got a minute? Sure, what's up? I just felt like having a chat, servant to master. Besides, I never finished my story. No, see, that's the thing. I did find it, just like I wanted to. But before we get back to my stupid antics, and I apologize in advance if I'm way off base or out of line here, but do you think you might be... being a little overeager? No, wait, that's not clear at all, is it? What I mean is, are you sure you're not pushing yourself too hard, or trying to act more positive than you feel? I asked because I couldn't help but notice when you healed Achilles earlier. You looked like you were pushing yourself way too hard, especially after you were already tired from fighting. I even worked up the courage to ask Da Vinci about it. And she said you usually don't heal servants after a battle like that at all. So it sounds like before you usually had a pretty good idea of when to save your strength and when to go all out. Well, if something changed, I'm sure there's a reason. It might not be my place to pry. But if it's okay with you, maybe we could talk about it? We, might have something in common. I've been feeling some strange urgency ever since we got to this Lostbelt. Urgency, huh? So that's why haven't been acting like yourself. Sorry if what I'm about to say is kind of rude. Like I told you before, I'm a supporting character in the Legend of Charlemagne. Sure, there's some stories that focus on my personal exploits, but in the end, I'm just an adversary there to be defeated. So really, I'm just strong enough to make the battle compelling, that's it. Hell, the only reason I'm a rider is because I stole a horse more famous than me. Brigliadoro was his name. If it wasn't for that story, I might never have been summoned at all. Basically, you see, you're saying that as a fellow weakling, you understand what I'm going through? Well, yeah. But don't get me wrong, though, I don't actually think you're weak, and I know Mash doesn't either. But as a hero with a hell of an inferiority complex, well, let's just say like recognizes like. You might be right. I knew it. Guess my intuition's not completely useless after all. That other master, Kirstaria, right? He was pretty amazing, wasn't he? No way, not even a little. Listen, Master, that guy's just like me. He's nothing special. When you're really strong, you can live your life elegantly, and you never have to make any hard choices. When he attacked us, I was nearly knocked out cold and almost taken out of commission for good. But you kept your wits about you, and above all, you survived. That's what I call amazing. Listen. A guy like me, I'll never measure up to the likes of Achilles or Hercules. Hell, while I wish it wasn't the case, I don't think I could even beat Ruggiero, no matter how many times I fight him. As for why that is, well, it's kind of a long story. I went on an adventure. I swore I was going to become a hero the likes of which had never been seen before. One with tales of daring do so dazzling, they'd make the whole world gasp in awe. I traveled near and far, and at long last, I found the sacred sword I'd been looking for. But you essentially stole it, Mandricardo. You have no more rightful claim. You have no more rightful claim to it than a stray dog to a dead man's bones. It wasn't the incredible reward I thought I'd find at the end of my adventure. All I did was snatch something a love-crazed knight threw away, like a dog rooting through a dumpster. Roland had thrown Durandal away, and I'd taken it for myself. I did run into some trouble when I found it, but that didn't matter. They said it was no different than if I had stolen it. Once I defeated Zerbino and won the sword from him, I went on bragging about being the hero who had it all. And I was so hopped up on the excitement of getting the legendary sword for myself that I didn't think twice about it. As for what happened next, well, I think I'll just give you the short version. I lost to Bradamante's lover, Ruggiero. I was wearing Hector's armor, wielding Durandal, and I still couldn't beat him. Sure, Ruggiero was a hell of a hero, and he did have a demonic sword. But there's no doubt my weapon was better. I think that's probably why I didn't bring that sword with me when I was summoned as a servant. Because in exchange for that sword, I gave up something I shouldn't have. Something important. I know how you feel. Gotcha. Well then, it was worth embarrassing myself. Anyway, getting back to my main point. Just to be totally clear, we never once thought you were third-rate. But if, in spite of that, you're thinking of yourself as powerless, or that you've got to do anything, to prove you've got what it takes, well, you're just plain wrong. So it would be better if I didn't do anything? No, it's not that. That's not what I mean. I mean, you've already more than proven it. You being here, standing with us servants, the decisions you make, even if you can't help but think everything you do is third-rate at best, I have nothing but respect for it. So it's fine if I mess up? Okay, maybe not exactly fine, but I can always bail you out if I have to. Thanks, Mandricardo. I feel better now. Sure thing. I'm glad to hear that. If you'd been all, how's this maudlin guy trying to cheer me up supposed to help? I'd have jumped straight into my spirit form and never looked back. I'd never say something like that. Good point, you wouldn't, would you? Ah, crap, I probably shouldn't be this frank with you, seeing as how you're my master and all. I don't mind. But it's so, you know, improper and stuff. Really, it's fine. Well, okay, if you insist, but it still doesn't seem right to me. I mean, being this frank with each other is usually something reserved for a friend and such. I guess that makes us friends then. Friends? But I'm like this mopey, awkward downer. And a third-rate servant, and a bad guy. At least as far as Charlemagne's side is concerned. If you go around calling me your friend, people are gonna start throwing rocks at you and stuff. I don't think that'll be an issue. Ah, that's right. I forgot that this master's most endearing quality is the way he gets along with pretty much everyone. So of course he'd go along with being friends if I suggested it. Mandricardo? Yes, I mean, okay, I hear you. Then, I guess from now on, you and I are officially friends. Although in that case, it'd probably be weird if I called you Master, huh? Just call me Yusaku. Well, I think I'll still have to go with Master in battle and such, or it'd seriously throw me off, but... Okay then, in general, I'll call you, Yusaku. From now on. Just don't blame me if you regret this later. I won't. Oh, alright, if you're sure. Okay, Yusaku, make sure you stay warm and get plenty of sleep, okay? Great, now I sound more like a parent than a friend. Good night, buddy. Gah, that hit me way harder than I thought. Ooh, I think I'm gonna sleep really well tonight. I think I have one more little arrow mark to do. Yeah, and then no battles here. Let's not waste any time. Ow. Okay, I think we're already halfway through the Lostbelt. And ever since that day, I vowed to never stop loving hidden eyes for as long as I live. What?
That was quite the tale of an adventure, wasn't it, Master?
You're trying too hard to speak. I had no idea there was such a sad backstory to, that.
Indeed. I think had it been written down, it might have been one of literature's greatest epic tales of tragic love. Though, you know, this is quite the adventure we're on right now, too. I certainly never experienced anything like this back when I was alive. This may be inappropriate for me to say, but I'm having a great deal of fun.
There's nothing inappropriate about that.
I see. That's a relief.
Usually, we only get a single life to live. That's a one-time only adventure in its own right. You know, if it's not too improper of me to ask, what is it you guys really want to do here? Oh, and I don't mean the obvious things like defeating this Lostbelt, helping Master, and saving the world. I mean, other more personal kinds of things, if you have any. I figured sharing them could add to the fun.
Huh? I'm not sure. I mean, I definitely do want to be useful to Master. But you're talking about things apart from that, right?
Exactly. The more selfish, the better in this case. For example, in my case, I'm hoping I get to meet the beautifully hidden eyes of the love of my life. Gotcha. If nothing else, you definitely know what you like, don't you? Oh yes. Let's see, what do I want? This is tougher than I thought. My wish is to make a new friend. I can just be myself. My wish is to make a new friend I can just be myself with kinda already came true, so...
It did? Does that mean you're now friends with Orion and Achilles?
Nah, nothing like that. Those guys are just colleagues. Anyway, I remember now. All I want's the same thing I've always wanted, to be a great knight. Oh? That's a surprise. Okay, I'm slowly sliding into British for him for some reason. You may have been portrayed as a villain in the Legend of Charlemagne, but I was under the impression you were already a fully fledged knight who had been on grand adventures. Well, I guess I did accomplish enough that I could be all humble and say something like, oh, it wasn't that big a deal. No, that's not good enough. I'm gonna stick with wanting to become a great knight. I see. Well, seeing as your hidden eye's depth is E rank, I don't think you'll need any words of encouragement from me. Yeah. Wait, what's hidden eye's depth? How about you, Miss Corday? If you could do anything in the world, what would it be?
I don't think I should be free to do whatever I want.
You don't? Yeah, because she stabs people. Well, that's a unique perspective. Why do you think that?
Isn't it obvious? The whole reason I ended up as a servant is because I thought freely. It looks like Mesh already knows what I'm talking about. I don't have any accomplishments to speak of. I never achieved anything great like Drake. I never had stories about me like Jason. I never had any adventure like Mandricardo's, and I was never a figure of myth like Orion. I'm just a dumb assassin who committed a single murder that didn't amount to anything useful. I thought about what I could do on my own, came up with a plan on my own, and tried to help save my country on my own, only for it all to end up being completely meaningless. I'm a dumb, empty-headed assassin. That's all I'll ever be. So I don't have any right to decide for myself. Not when there's no point not when there's no point in my even being alive. I don't agree with that. Why not?
I overheard some strange things being said while I was swaying on the ocean's currents, so I'm going to cut in. If that was all it took to negate the point of living, there'd be none to Bartholomew or me being alive either. I'm a purely conceptual being, nothing more than a phantom spirit made of a mix of heroic and divine parts. And as for Bartholomew, his accomplishments were all, well, terrible. I can't argue with that. It's true, I made no contributions to human history whatsoever. I can't even claim to be the most notable pirate. That was all that idiot Blackbeard's doing. And the other pirate servants all have much more interesting stories to tell than I do. Take, say, Anne Bonny and Mary Read. They're nothing if not memorable, right? Voila! Just like that, there's no point in my existence either.
Don't be silly. Those things couldn't be more different.
No, Miss Corday. When you get right down to it, they're exactly the same. He's right. Ultimately, there's no point to most people's lives. It was just pure coincidence that I became a master at all.
Indeed. But coincidence or not, I'm very grateful that you did.
Foe! What is the point in Foe's existence without his divine kibbles? I'm still looking for that, though. I will dive off this ship and search the 7 seas for it. How about you, Jason? Where do you stand on this discussion? What? You mean, do I think there's any meaning to life?
What kind of boring question is that? It's just a matter of which point in your life you decide to look at. Is it only worth moving ahead with life if there's some greater meaning to your existence? And conversely, if there isn't any meaning to your existence, does that mean you should just die? Because if that were the case, all of humanity besides me would have gone extinct long ago.
Did he really just say what I think he said?
Talk about confidence. You can all bow to me now.
Yes, sir.
Are you nuts? Why would you actually listen to him?
Well, I don't really know what he's talking about, but it sounded really wise.
Damn it, you're more gullible than I thought. Hi, Apollo here. I think what you meant to say was pure and innocent. Do you even know how to make yourself useful?
So somebody else did what I wasn't able to, huh? Yes, you may be right. But in that case, what's the point of our even being here?
What's wrong with just having fun?
Huh?
You may be right, Master. There are sacrifices to be made, of course, and that's something to be sad about. There's also the sense of duty we feel that drives us to help bring this war to a close. But, all told, don't you think it's safe to say we're all having fun?
Well, maybe.
Great. Now that that's settled, let's talk love. What do you say? Any interest in hearing about my extraordinary romantic exploits? Are we talking the kinds of stories reserved solely for those more, mature audiences?
Will you lot knock it off already? The encrypted comms line is not your personal phone party.
Hey, don't worry, we're on Discord.
I'll especially thank you to not use it for such inappropriate salacious topics. There will be no tales of extraordinary romantic exploits on my watch. In case you've forgotten, let me remind you that we are still very much in the middle of an operation.
Hey, it actually shows me! It's me!
I'm well and truly convinced. This is fun. I've never seen an ocean like this, or islands like this, or a civilization like this. Anything like this, really. Yes, I'm still so scared I feel like my heart is going to burst, but that's just as true for all of them, too. I bet these people find heart-pounding adventures and terrifying monsters to be fun, too.
Excuse me.
I'm so jealous. I wish I could be like that myself. I really, really do.
I wonder, if I was wearing a different Mystic Code, would it show that? That would be something funny. Or will it just stick to my Lostbelt Mystic Code?
Can I ask you something? Do you remember when we first met?
You mean when you saved my life?
That's right. I remember I was so overcome with emotion that I cried. I'd never once been of any use to anyone, not when I was alive nor after my death. So when I did something useful for you, that was the first time I ever did something useful for the world. That got me wondering whether I even deserved to be a part of something so wonderful. And that's why I started crying. Is it through this servitude that your life will have... It is through this servitude that your life will have meaning.
I don't know if that's her. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry. I was just spacing out a bit. Thank you, Master. I really love you.
Hey, yo, what was that? Damn. I think I forgot to turn off my harem protagonist powers, you know. Oh boy. Huh? What? Uh-oh. Yep, there we go. It's the harem protagonist EX power.
What?
Damn, dude.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant,
Nutty.
that you're a great master and someone I really respect.
Hey. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I mean, you're in the presence of the harem protagonist here.
Oh, I see.
Yui Horii voicing Charlotte Corday's The Chef's Kiss. I know, right?
And that I completely agree. I'm very proud to have Yusaku as my master.
Whoa there. If you're going to have a lover's quarrel, take it to the Argo. I don't allow that sort of thing here on the Royal Fortune.
The fuck you just say, man? Huh? Why's that?
Because unsightly squabbles like that always end up reducing Hidden Eye's purity levels. Bruh. I don't allow lovers' quarrels on the Argo either. Know why? Because in Greece, doing anything romantic in nature is tantamount to asking for death. Trust me.
I can tell you speak from painful experience.
Anyway, that's enough chit-chat. Won't be long until we reach our destination now. Got it.
Let's go get ready to disembark, Master.
Miss Corday.
Oh, please, don't call me Miss.
My apologies, Lady Corday. I just want to say that was quite the front you put up there.
You're very perceptive, aren't you, Bartholomew?
Well, I expect to have a big leg up on the most when it comes to this. Well, I expect I have a big leg up on most when it comes to things of this sort. That said, you weren't exactly hard to read.
Do you think I'll regret it if I don't say anything?
Regrets and parting are an intrinsic part of life, Lady Corday, especially now that we're servants.
Life really doesn't ever go the way you want it to, does it? Not even when you get a second chance at it.
I see. Then I take it my suspicions were on the mark?
I'll say, they were right on the money, damn it.
Don't get stabbed. Don't get stabbed. Don't get stabbed. Alright, we are on chapter 15. Let us do this, folks. I told you guys I was a harem protagonist. Okay. So yeah, let us continue. Let's get this duel into overdrive. Oh, Dove just logged in right now. I wonder if she's gonna do recordings. Well, she did say she was gonna do recordings of Lostbelt 5. I need to make my thumbnails and start uploading some of these parts onto YouTube. Okay, dokie then. Let's have you here. Let's bring Merlin. Hey, Merlin. Merlin. But us. Oh, let's use Ishtar again. Let's put Nido Chris in here. And here we go. No hostiles detected near Persei Island. No sign of Artemis in nearby orbital space either. Right. All hands prepare to make land. Okay, so we'll be making a divine construct for Orion instead of Achilles like we originally planned. But that shouldn't affect the forging process too much one way or the other. Bartholomew, you stay behind and watch the ship like usual. Paris, I want you to do the same. Take the ships around to the other side of the island and be ready to rendezvous with us there. You got it, leader. We'll work with the Nemos to keep the Argos safe. You don't have to worry about us.
Hi again, I'll be staying behind with the ship this time. Here's the container for the nanomachines. Please make sure you use this to collect the Hephaestus Klironomea once you find them. We will.
Okay, see you all later. Later. A gentle breeze and no sign of trouble anywhere, huh? I don't like it. This is the exact sort of moment when unforeseen disaster tends to strike. But I guess there's nothing I can do now except pray that fortune smiles upon them. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? More Atlantis border guards. Do you think they've seen us?
No, from what I have observed, their patrol routes appear to be restricted to a standard range. If they had received word that we were coming here to see Lord Hephaestus, I imagine that they would be far more vigilant right now. They're most likely simply deploying these guards to every island in the vicinity. If they knew Lord Hephaestus was here, the security detail would surely look very different.
Guess that means we'll just have to take care of them, huh? Any quick-moving demonic beasts nearby? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's do this. Got it.
Right, let's all do our best out there, everyone.
Whoa, what happened to you? I've never seen you so fired up before.
I just decided that from now on, I'm going to focus on completing the task at hand, whatever it takes. Alright, let's do this.
It's okay. Like I said, I am a harem protagonist. It's par for the course. I mean, Look at my Bishonen looks here. How could you not fall for this? But before we continue on with the battle, I have to take a small bathroom break. I'll try not to be long, and I'll be right back.
「夏だからね、戦いも観光も涼やかなものがいい。」
Okay, sorry about that, folks. Took a little longer than I thought. Alright. So this is the
夏
assessment.
の話題を独り占めだな。見せ場だ。任せるがよい。王冠よ、力を。高くついたわね。
リラックスリラックス。君に全チップをかけよう。頼むぞ。
オリンピアきらめくぞ。
Alright, here we go. Alright. Let's do this.
Mm, いいわ。はいはい。ゲートオープン。よしよし、今回もよろしくね。大いなる天から大いなる地に向けて、またの名をジュベルハブレブレイカー。良い演目であった。次の公演も楽しみにするがよい。
Well, damn, I got max bond with everyone here. And then Castronero almost got to the second, that bond 11, I could say. That takes care of them. But it won't take long for Odysseus' main fleet to realize we're here once they fail to report in. That said, they probably won't get here that quickly.
Do not say things like that. You will only invite disaster. In all of human history, fate has never been kind to those who are overly optimistic in their estimations.
Damn it, you're right. And as if to prove the point, your reminder just inspired my brain to flash back to all the worst memories from my life simultaneously. We need to hurry. Chiome, Mandricardo, you've already been infused with Hephaestus' Klironomea, right? Does that mean you can tell where the temple is once we get close enough?
Yes, we should be able to, but this island is also bigger than I believed.
Yeah, right now, all I can say is that I can vaguely tell it's on the other side. I see, and I suppose there's nothing to be done but start looking for it.
Aren't you forgetting something? What about the labyrinth? It's guarded by the Minotaur, right? So it won't attack us if we go in unprepared?
Flashback to the Lostbelt. The other Lostbelt. I don't think we'll have to worry about that.
Huh? Right. I don't think we need to worry about that either.
Sounds like there's a sad story there, and being the downer I am, I can tell this is a good time to keep my mouth shut.
Well, if you say so, I'll take your word for it. But we should at least take some thread with us. Then again, maybe there wouldn't be much point to it. Maybe there wouldn't be much point to that, since it'd probably break pretty easily.
Ariadne's thread wouldn't. It was specially woven and imbued with a fair maiden's prayers to ensure it would never break no matter what.
Then, if I pray hard enough, does that mean I can make Ariadne's thread too?
Since when are you fair or
Don't go there, Jason, unless you're really eager to bleed.
On second thought, I would draw my comment, backpedaling furiously away from that landmine. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work, Corday. How come? The reason Ariadne's prayers were so effective is because she loved Theseus' body and soul. If they hadn't had the power of love on their side, Theseus wouldn't have been able to follow the thread all the way back to the exit. I'd usually scoff at that, but I can't deny that love does have a lot of cursed power, especially in Greece.
Love, huh? True, I suppose that wouldn't work.
Certainly not with a woman who never fell in love when she was alive.
I can't argue with that. Sniff, sniff.
That was uncalled for. Part of being a hero is encouraging others to face unpleasant truths. You know, she's also one of my harem members now. Don't be fooled, Master. He doesn't mean it. He's just spitting out the first believable platitude that comes to mind. Coming up with convincing things to say on the spot is also part of being a hero.
You can at least pretend to feel bad. That is enough out of all of you Greek heroes. I mean it. Damn it. I wish I could sacrifice you two in exchange for summoning Hercules back.
Well, you can't.
Come on. Don't you think that'd be a waste of a perfectly good hero right here?
Oh?
Name me one thing about you that surpasses Hercules in any way. My good looks! He and I both got you beat there. Ooh. Ow. God, I can feel that from here. That's a yikes and a half, man. Talk about an endless, pointless argument.
I agree. After all, no two people always agree about what constitutes good looks.
This is so stupid. Now I wish we'd brought Paris along. He's a better looker than all of them. I'm surprised you got so much respect for the guy who killed you. Ah, crap, sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud. Oh, absolutely. It took a lot of courage for him to take up that bow and kill me, and I respect him for it. Not that I can say so when he's around, since he's always taking pot shots at me. Why not? No need to be shy with praise. Oh, hey, VTuber Amor. Thank you for the raid. Let me see. Let me give you a shout out. VTuber Amor. And Wired VTube, thank you for the follow. Thanks for joining the harem. And you were playing Genshin Impact. How was your stream, VTuber Amor? And thank you for the follow. And Grim Cakes, thank you for the follow as well. And for those of you coming in, for those of you who are new here, I am Yusei D-Wheeler. I am a fairly new VTuber. It was fun, very productive. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I only played Genshin Impact once, though, and I haven't been able to play it because, well, let's just say I had a lot of games on the backlog that I need to get through for my content and stuff. But it's still pretty cool. I had fun playing when the time I played it, though. But again, like I said, I'm Yusei D-Wheeler. You can call me Yusei. I am a VTuber, a fairly new VTuber. This avatar was created by my good friend Hana13. And yeah, it's been pretty fun. And right now I'm playing Fate Grand Order. I'm going through the new chapter in the mobile game Fate Grand Order, for those of you who don't know. And yeah, this is what you see right here. Alrighty. In any case, though, you think? Something tells me that wouldn't go over very well.
Did something happen when you and Master Mandricardo? You seem closer now, somehow.
Kinda. Really? That's all you're gonna say?
So you're friends now? I'm kind of jealous. Maybe it would help me to get closer to him too if I tried speaking more informally myself. Would that be okay?
Hell yeah, it would. Speaking as a lifelong romantic, I guarantee it. Oh, and there is a bot in here, so I will have to lay the ban on it. Maseo 1223. There we go. But anyway, I want to thank you for the raid, and thanks for joining in. And if you want to get closer to me while you're at it, that's totally okay too.
Then again, that's easier said than done.
Whoop, you're not even listening to me, are you? Guess she's lost in her own thoughts right now.
The nuns at Abbey were always very particular about ensuring we spoke politely after all, and it's very hard to unlearn a lifetime of habits like that overnight. Whatever am I going to do? Oh? Master, I can see a hunter off in the distance. Perhaps we should try asking where we can find the labyrinth.
Looks like that might be our only choice.
Then I will try speaking to him casually so he does not think us suspicious. Are you there?
What? Who are you? So much for that plan. I'll go too and try to smooth things over. That's too casual. The labyrinth? Why would you want to go there? Sorry.
It is our job to go around investigating ruins of that nature.
Uh-huh. Well, there might be one old man back in the village who knows where it is.
Really? That would be a big help.
Come with me, I'll show you the way.
We have heard rumors that the labyrinth's monster is no longer there. Do you know if they are true?
First I've heard of that. Wait, really? The labyrinth's monster's gone now? When I was a kid, my parents told me to stay away from there unless I wanted to be eaten. Some people went to check it out for themselves and never returned. And now the nameless monster's dead, huh? Never would have seen that coming.
I'm sorry, nameless?
Oh, I think it used to have a name at some point, but we all forgot it ages ago. I mean, why would we need to know it? It's not like we're ever gonna go near the thing anyway.
I see. Then none of you ever thought to try to vanquish this monster? You were all more strong enough to handle demonic beasts thanks to your Theo's Klironomea. So how come none of you ever thought to kill the labyrinth monster and make a name for yourselves?
Why would we want to do that?
Well, you know, to be heroes or something.
Are you nuts? How could a bunch of exiles like us ever become heroes?
When you say exiles, do you mean you were exiled from Olympus?
Yeah, that's right. They said we had bugs or something like that, so we got kicked out. So it'd be wrong for us to become heroes. Can I ask you something too? That'd mean you knew there was a monster in the labyrinth all this time, but you never tried to kill it, right? Weren't you scared knowing it was out there, that it could come and attack you in your village anytime it wanted? What else could we do? A god made that monster, so we've got no business killing it. Gotcha. Okay, there's the village over there.
Wonderful. Thank you. I will go on ahead then.
I must say, there's something very bland about these people.
That Artemis said something along those lines, too. That there's something about them that's fundamentally different from us. For better or for worse, there were definitely people like that in proper human history, too. People who unquestionably accept what they've been given and settle down without attempting to push things forward. Honestly, they were probably the majority. It's a much easier way to live, after all. People like that aren't the type to embark on an arduous quest so they can come home with a golden fleece. But at least they don't try to drag you down or badmouth you. That much I appreciate.
I don't know if I agree with that. Doesn't the fact that none of them ever say anything mean or try to drag all this down mean that they don't ever even feel such basic emotions as frustration or envy?
Indeed.
The people of Atlantis have gone down a very different path from both proper human history and from the people of the Indian Lostbelt.
I have no doubt that their lives are peaceful and content. They live for hundreds of years, and I suspect most of them have never caught so much as a cold. Because the Theos Klironomea, the general-purpose nanomachines they have been given, stop every germ and virus in its tracks. They spend their days tilling their fields, tending their livestock, hunting wild game, protecting their village from demonic beasts, and worshipping Olympus. A simple life, to be sure.
The people of the Chinese Lostbelt have forgotten their culture because it was taken away, but these people have abandoned civilization in the wake of their exile. No, that's not quite right. It's more that there's simply no need for them to develop their civilization further.
I see. I also doubt that this civilization imposes any form of sacrifice on its people. Unlike proper human history and its tendency to plow ahead regardless of who or what may be obstructing its path. That being said, we have thus far only seen how these exiled Atlanteans view this world. Whereas the people who live in Olympus near the top of the Tree of Emptiness may well see things differently.
Alright. There's 2 more arrow notches. 2 more sections in this part. And we have a question mark. Will depend on the choices we make. I see. And who do we want to fight? Let's see. Well, let's see what goes. Let's see what happens.
Hun, you're back.
I sure am, and I come bring all the meat you could ask for.
And who might these folks be?
They say they're here to investigate the labyrinth.
Huh? Okay. What about it are you looking to investigate? Well, you know, this and that. Even though you're still so young and small, goodness, you poor thing. I can't believe you have to go around investigating labyrinths when you can't be more than 100 years old. Well, what can I say? On my island, it's customary to begin working in one's adolescence. Anyway, the labyrinth, huh? Now where was it again?
I'm guessing Old Man Kinegos? I'm guessing Old Man Kinegos will know. I remember him saying he went there way back when.
Let's see. I think Kenigo should be living in the oldest house in the village. Well, I'm not sure if he's even still alive, to be honest.
Wow. Don't even go bother to check on him?
The labyrinth? Why would you want to go somewhere like that? You do know there's a monster there, don't you?
Oh yes, there's no need to worry. We are quite capable of taking care of monsters. All we need to know is how to get there, so if you have a map or something of the sort, that would be a huge help.
You know the way you talk. All stiff and all, it's weird.
Weird? Jason's over in the corner, not even trying to stifle his laughter.
Well, whatever. This is the map data I used back when I went, so don't blame me if the roads have changed since then. Should I just send it to you then?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Gosh, I haven't sent data like this in forever.
How come?
'Cause there's usually no need to when you're just out here living our lives. When we're just out here living our lives.
Could you not use this functionality to communicate with people far away?
Why would I need to do that when everyone I want to talk to is right here?
Boomer.
I sure don't know anyone on any far-off island. It would be one thing if we could use it to communicate with the gods. That would truly be a blessing. But there's no point in forming networks between ordinary humans.
I suppose you are. I suppose you're right.
Come on, Kinegos. It's almost time to eat. Let's take you to your feeding tube. Oof. I know, I'll be right there. Alright, that's all I've got for you.
Thank you for your help. This will be invaluable.
Okay.
These people really do not, don't have any ambitions, do they?
It's okay, you're cuter when you're being polite and all.
Cute? Do not be ridiculous. I am a kunoichi first and foremost, remember? And cuteness is one of kunoichi's primary weapons, so it only makes sense that I would be cute as well. What I'm trying to say, Master, is that you must have unwillingly fallen prey to my kunoichi charms. You have my sympathies.
Damn it, Master. You've got to be more careful with complimenting that one. Any praise this ninja gets goes right to her head. She's real gullible like that.
Gullible? You, Lord Jason, are calling me gullible?
And you think I am?
You may not be gullible, but you are absolutely be-gullible.
Beguilable. That's not even a word.
At any rate, as I was saying, these people truly do not have anything in the way of ambitions or vigor.
That's just what happens when people spend their whole lives without any kind of technological revolution. When life looks exactly the same as it did 10,000 years ago, of course they'd lose all appetite for it.
At least it's a very peaceful way to live.
Only because these people haven't moved past depending on the gods.
You know, Lord Jason, for someone born in the age of gods, you certainly do not like them very much.
You wouldn't either if you'd grown up there. Though I'd have to say, whether we're talking this Lostbelt or proper human history, knowing 12 Olympians were robots makes a lot of sense. It explains why their way of thinking was always so incredibly inhuman. Huh? I thought the Greek gods were famous for being, you know, all too human. Yes, and their motives were definitely human, but the conclusions they arrived at and the way they generally conducted themselves were all distinctly inhuman. For example, some scholars believe that they started the Trojan War to thin out the human population after they decided there were too many of us. Yikes. I don't know if it's true or not, but I wouldn't be all surprised if it was. And let's not forget that in this Lostbelt, the same 12 Olympians have endured all the way up to the present day. I'm sure even the minor gods live anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand years here.
You know, that reminds me of something. Well, it may be to different degrees. You said the Greek gods were robots both here and in proper human history, right? But the divine spirit-based servants that we've met, like Yusei, for example, all look like ordinary humans.
So, if the 12 Olympians are robots, why aren't the gods who serve them robots as well?
Right. For instance, Orion. Poseidon is your father, right?
Yeah, he is. But I get the feeling I never actually met him back when I was alive.
I expect that may be very similar to the way myths ebb and flow throughout the world.
For example, we already know that gods which emerge from concepts and nature across various lands were integrated into Greek mythology. So while I can't be sure if this is due to the 12 Olympians themselves or the faith of their worshippers, it makes perfect sense in this case that subservient gods will take form of humans and animals. After all, these robotic gods clearly came from another planet altogether and are of a wholly foreign nature.
But even so, wouldn't the myths end up twisting the forms of these subservient gods to resemble the Olympians? I mean, it happens all the time, right? When an enemy god from a different land's mythology is changed into a hideous monster, their form ends up changing after the fact to match. So why wouldn't that happen to God? Why wouldn't oh god man, I am messing up right now. So why wouldn't that happen to God being made subservient to one of these robots?
The Olympians may have wished to avoid appearing completely alien to their worshippers. After all, I rather doubt that there was anything else in all of ancient Greece in any way similar to them. So the fact that Orion looks completely human despite being Poseidon's son is most likely... Yeah, I think you're right. The Triton side of me still remembers what Poseidon looked like. But I think that's only because he gave Triton special treatment, since he entrusted him to defend the sea as his successor. Whereas, I don't think he thought of his children, who lived on the land, as anything more than familiars. Yeah, good point. Now that I think about it, I don't actually know a single thing about my old man. My mother was a lesser god, and looked completely human. Though that didn't stop my parents from separating because of irreconcilable differences. Reconcilable. I shouldn't have trouble saying that. Well, suffice to say, I think there's one phrase that sums it up perfectly. The gods are crazy. Man, now I'm glad I never had any divinity of my own. Anyway, we're here now. There's nobody else here. There isn't, is there? What's the meaning of this? I mean, you'd expect there to be at least a few guards around an island temple by now, right? And there's no way the villagers wouldn't have told them where to find it.
Do you suppose this monster that lives the labyrinth might have eaten them?
That seems highly unlikely. From everything we've been told, he resided deep within the labyrinth, even here in this Lostbelt. More concretely, there are no signs of a struggle here. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. Should we leave someone on lookout, or should we all go in together? Let's all go in together. Well, you don't usually speak up so directly. Alright, we'll go with that then.
Alright then, let's go in. Okay. This labyrinth looks a lot like the one we saw in Okeanos.
Guess this means the story about Daedalus building it to the certain... Guess this means the story about Daedalus building it to contain the Minotaur is pretty much the same here.
Though it seems like Lord Daedalus' name was never recorded in this Lostbelt legend. Okay. I'm guessing we'll lose comms right about now.
Oh, why's that?
Because that's what the records from Okeanos say.
Right, I remember now. I actually don't. That was a few years ago.
Yes. This is where we met Asterios and Euryale. That was quite the ordeal, wasn't it?
Ugh.
What is it, Jason? You look like your head's about to split open.
Let's just say that all my memories of Okeanos are extremely, extremely bad ones.
Now, think of it as your chance for a new beginning. In my case, my records say that I once went about calling myself Assassin of Paraiso and causing no end of havoc. Apparently, I even tried to enchant Master here by saying something like, "Shall I keep you company for the night?" I have to say, I'll be interested in trying that myself at some point.
Can anyone say harem protagonist? It's one of the scariest things I've ever experienced. It was very exciting.
I see.
Whoa. The audio is a little bit scratchy, so give me 1 second. As I will attempt to try and fix this. There we go. So how was everyone tonight? Again, I want to thank VTuber More for the raid. And I wonder, do any of you play FGO as well? Out of curiosity. At least for those of you who are still up and about. But if you're still lurking, that's okay too. Still, I want to thank you guys for coming in to watch. I don't play it, but it looks cool.
It's a very fun. It's honestly, I think it's a very fun game, and it's has a really good story. So if you're really into the Fate series, though, I don't know if you guys watched the Fate series though, but I think this is a pretty fun. It's a fun thing though, and you're looking in it now. That's fair enough. I'm not, but I have friends that are. Ah, I see. I don't know. I mean, I would recommend it though, honestly. If you want to get into the Fate series, though, I'd say probably start at Fate Zero, which I know some other people would say, no, don't start, but I'd say start at it, though, because that's where it chronologically begins, really, and then go on to Fate Stay Night, really. Okay, let's continue again. Oh yeah, let's just resume. I don't want to resume from start because that's quite a bit of time.
I see. I do apologize for that, Lady Mash, but I'm afraid it was out of my hands. I cannot help that I'm too beautiful for this world.
Wow. Aren't you a little vain?
Eh.
Don't worry about it, Shielder. There are as many as What? I mean, he's not wrong. Okay, but let me say. Don't worry about it, Shielder. There are as many fetishes as there are stars in the sky. Jason, I'm liking you more and more now, just for being real with us.
I really fail to see how that's supposed to help me not worry, Jason.
Oh, shit. Whoop! We've got demonic beast. Damn, there's more of them than I thought there'd be.
They're coming in from both behind and in front of us. I count 26 altogether.
I see. And it looks like the Minotaur really is gone. There's no way it would let this many weaklings take up residence in its labyrinth otherwise. Either way, we're still surrounded. We might be surrounded, but it's gonna take way more than a bunch of weaklings like these to challenge me. Oh, in that case, Orion, what would you say to a little contest? Sounds good to me. I'll even give you a handicap to make up for your injury. Don't worry about that. I don't need my immortal body to take care of these chumps. So, what'll it be? Whoever kills the most wins? Whoever kills the most, the fastest. You're on! Good. If you guys are that sure you can win, I can relax and get some shut-eye. Wake me up when you're done. Dude, he just conks out.
I don't believe it. You're actually lying down to sleep?
Master, you can handle picking the formation. You can manage that much, right? Hey, don't forget, I kicked your ass in Okeanos, alright? And we kicked Solomon's ass. And we conquered 4 Lostbelts to boot. Jason's pretty funny. I know, right? Don't worry, I've got this. Well, well, now look who's on top of things. Alright then, I'll leave you to it. I love it when I space out. And then snap back to reality by something ridiculously weird. I know, right?
Here they come. Awaiting your orders, Master.
Orion, you take the front. You got it, Yusaku. Let's do this. Alrighty then. Let us do this. Okay, now we're picking our formation. Ah, I see. You know what? I want to bank up the fact that since we're using Artemis the Archer, you went for Achilles? I'm willing to bet that we're gonna fight against Sabers because we're having Orion take the front. And also, I think I will leave an Ishtar. Sorry, Nero, I'm gonna have to swap you out. Ah, no! Not Saber Altar. Let's see. I do got Jano Nesan. All it does is change the enemies you battle. I see. So let me get this straight. Since you picked Achilles, were the enemies casters? Use Orion, you coward. I just want to wipe them out quickly. It's all good. Yeah, let's use Gilgamesh. Let's see. I don't know. I did that last time. I want to change it up. They were casters. Okay, so I guess that means since I picked Orion, then they're going to be sabers. Okay. Let me find a good single target archer. Be a man and use Orion. Give me one moment. Well, I can always Unga Bunga it though. I want a Noble Phantasm to go alive when, because the thing charges them up to 50%. I guess I can just swap out for a waiver for Great Justice. Alright. Fuck, he's MP5. I keep forgetting he's MP5. What the fuck? Also, for those wondering, I do have channel points you can also unlock too. If you use channel points, you can make a sound here, like this. Or you can say this.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Have fun playing with the channel points if you guys want. Of course you'd pick that zero. He doesn't have any NP batteries, does he? Oh well. that too. It's fist or his NP battery. Well, at least I got a chain with him.
Ayo!
Increase your critical. I'll save that one. Ooh, that's what I want to see. Oh, I want to use his noble phantasm. Oh, well, whatever.
俺には幸運と不運をまとめて持ち込む女神がついてんだ。
Oh, yeah. Well, that's taken care of. Super Orion goes Ooga Booga Smash. I don't know, but I want to see him get hugged by Orion before he goes Unga Bunga on him. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do a loud roar because it is late. Bonk. I can say bonk. Alright! Since we both got the same number of kills, that means I win. Huh? Come on, that was totally a draw at best. What do you think, Master? Orion was faster. Damn it, I was too slow. You're too slow. Aren't you gonna use your injury as an excuse? And embarrass myself in front of Master? Hell no. Besides, in a tight space like this, efficiency's more important than speed anyway. I just didn't put together my plan of attack as well as I could have. Though I still would have won if I had Master backing me up. Sorry, but I just can't pay attention to two battles at once. Yeah, I know, but still. Looks to me like you still have a lot of learning to do in that regard. But don't worry. Now that I'm mentally rested after a quick power nap, I'll be more than able to make up for your many shortcomings.
I keep telling you, servants don't need to sleep. Ugh.
By the way, Scout Chiome, how are things looking up ahead?
This is the furthest point on the old man's map, but there's still a great deal of labyrinth left to cover. So what do we do now? Worry not, I have this well in hand. Now that Lord Hephaestus' presence is getting stronger, I should have no difficulty finding him. Follow me!
Let's do this. Let us do this. Okay, oh yeah, we are in chapter 15. Well, let's go ahead and do this.
I know we expected as much, but this labyrinth certainly is long, isn't it?
How are you holding up, Master? I'm fine.
I don't think I can keep going much longer, so...
Oh, come on, are you kidding me, Corday? And you call yourself a servant? I don't want to be here any longer than we have to be. We keep moving. That wink. I don't think I can keep going much longer either. I'm gonna take a little break.
Huh? Oh, right. I actually can't keep going much longer either.
What? What the hell's going on?
Come on, everyone. Let's all take a break.
Huh? Excuse me? Hey, Corday. When you're done massaging Master's legs, make sure you do mine next.
Okay. Wait, I thought you weren't tired.
I'm not. I just want to feel relaxed.
In that case, you can massage your own legs.
Oof.
Oh, very well. If you truly want one, I can oblige with a pressure point massage if you like.
Great, I'll leave you to it then. Wait, does he even know what a pressure point massage is?
Understood. Acupressure it is then.
Exactly. Oh, fuck. Oh!
I was not aware that servants could build up exhaustion to this degree. Here we go. It seems you have something of a bad liver. For that, I need to really dig in, as if I were trying to gouge the pressure point right out of you.
Guys, save!
Here I go.
Maybe I should stop her.
I'm not really sure what the best thing to do here is.
Please, stop. I don't want to die.
Alright, last one. Be warned, this is going to hurt a bit.
Huh? You mean everything else up to now wasn't supposed to?
Hup!
Ow! Oh.
Phew, that is better. You're quite stiff, but everything should be nice and loose now. How about you, Master? Would you also like me to?
Thanks, but no thanks. I'll have Corday massage me.
Now, there's no need to be shy. Huh? It is not that at all? Aww. Say, Master. What was the proper human history Asterios like?
In a word, big. Big. He's very big. He was very kind, I think.
I see. That doesn't quite line up with what I know about him. True. In some ways, he was like the platonic ideal of a monster dwelling in a labyrinth. But in others, he was nothing like that at all.
For better or worse, he was the archetypical example of a tragic monster. If he'd only been raised differently, all of his so-called monstrous qualities would have made him a great hero.
Huh. I can practically taste King Minos' sheer cowardice even now. He could have made Asterios into his most powerful weapon if he'd only played his cards right, but instead he let his fears get the best of him and ended up raising a great brute of a monster. That's pretty much par for the course with cowardly kings. As far as they're concerned, any ally who can conceivably take their throne from them is an enemy to be feared. Cut it out, Achilles. You're reminding me of a king just like that, and I'd rather forget that man. Fine with me. I'd just as soon not think about one I knew either. Alright then, no more king talk. Gotta say, being a hunter meant I never really had to worry about kings. Yeah? Man, that must be nice. I'm kinda jealous. Since I chose to live out my destiny as a hero, the idea of getting to be a simple hunter is pretty much an impossible dream for me. Especially since your destiny only lasted you about 10 years. Buzz off, I'm happy enough with how things turned out. They're really hitting it off, aren't they? This is what happens when you have a bunch of cheery guys in one place. Honestly, if you ask me, you'd normally be right there with them. You think? Definitely.
Hearing about all of your experiences has made me realize how simplistically I used to think. I used to believe the world was much more black and white. I thought defending the place I lived was good, and anyone who tried to destroy it was evil.
In one sense, you're not wrong. Even animals will instinctively protect their territory and attack whatever threatens it.
I guess. But in the end, I was sentenced to die, and people thought me evil.
Don't be an idiot. If you think you're evil, you should see what kind of villainy my ex-wife put me through. Victims become victimizers, and victimizers become victims. And it happens all the damn time. Oh my god. This... what Jason just said here is real, so freaking real to this day. In this day and age. This is exactly what is today right now. Victims becoming the victimizers, though. Yeah, so-called victims. Am I right? You can't let yourself worry about that sort of thing if you actually want to be a hero.
Is that really how it works?
If you don't believe me, ask what I was like in Okeanos. Even with Medea tricking me, just the thought of what I did back there twists me up inside. But at least we're friends now. Friends? Seriously? Don't be ridiculous. I feel like you're only bringing up even worse memories for me.
Thank you, everyone. I can see I still have a great deal to learn about a lot of things.
So, shall we get going then?
Sounds good. I'll be with you every step of the way.
I'm really liking Corday. Alrighty, let's see now. It's 3 a.m. here. Man, I think I can go on. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so I mean, it could go longer though, but I think this five arrow section though, I might take longer than I would intend. So I'm actually gonna end it right here and actually continue on, I guess, well, since it's 3 a.m. tonight after I get off work, because yeah, I'm eager to keep going though. But like I said, I don't want to like spend, because if I try doing this now, I'll probably end up playing until like 5 a.m. and I kind of do need to get some sleep at some point. So yeah, let's save the fun for next stream, alrighty? And for those of you watching on YouTube, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again next time. Alrighty, take care.